Episode 2 Digital Love Cringe. Hello, loves. Welcome to Romancing the Story, a podcast centered around reading and writing romance. My name is Sarah Gomez. I'm your host, budding romance author, and general love enthusiast. Could I ask a silly question? Why does the majority of the romance genre not take online relationships seriously? I have found it exceedingly difficult to find a romance book that presents online relationships in a healthy and sustainable way. There are some out there, but compared to the depth of books the romance genre has, it is sorely lacking. The versions I come across painter the notion of online dating as a source of shame or desperation. Or on the flip side, the idea is played up for comedic effect that ultimately plays a minor role in the central relationship. Could we do each other a huge favor? Romance authors, could you help a thirsty millennial out and incorporate the internet or apps into a romance without being, weird? I grew up in the age of the internet, and full disclosure, I met all my boyfriends and subsequently my husband online. Listen, I grew up in a smallish town, and the options were limited. All the while, the internet overflows with a wealth of possibilities. Yes, that includes the catfish and all the perverts and weirdos, but options, people. Several of my friends found their significant others on apps, dating sites, or chat rooms. It is becoming increasingly more common for people to meet and connect through the wonders of the internet. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking books where lovers meet at work, school, or face-to-face. That is completely romantic in its own right and sets the tone of the relationship from the jump. But online relationships can also be a catalyst for long-term relationships. Here's some thoughts. According to a Nielsen Insight study published in 2015, 70% of romance readers discover the genre between the ages of 11 and 18, yet most romance readers tend to be older. The average age range is from 30 and 54 years old. Every year, we're seeing readers shift towards a generation who grew up online and do not feel the stigma of making friends or kissy faces with virtual strangers. While romance content seems to be catching up with the times for a wider range of representation, the digital space still remains a mystifying anomaly. As a romance reader that skews younger, I feel ostracized when the topic of online dating is approached and the natural instinct of characters in a book is discussed. I tend to get secondhand shame. A little background. I'm not super sensitive. I don't mind if a protagonist makes one reference about the horrors of internet philandering or makes a casual dig about catfishes. I get over it. But it's when the book decides to have characters pile on the incessant criticism of dating someone through an app or online that makes me feel like the author is coming for me in my relationship. I know personal bias seeps through the works of writers occasionally. And it should be easy enough to ignore, especially if it's all in good fun or lighthearted teasing. But I've found an alarming amount of internet dating hate in contemporary romance. I assume it's because some writers are wary and aren't very well acquainted with the world of online dating, but the problem becomes an easy punching bag that makes readers like me disengage with the material and ultimately not finish reading. I hear the criticisms of sexting and cybering loud and clear. I got the lecture from my mom as a teenager when I told her exactly how I met my boyfriend. In a public space, no less, so no blood was shed. Romance writing doesn't have to name drop every single social media site in existence. Reading about a MySpace relationship in any capacity today does not age well. But with so much of our lives played out on the internet, I would love to see more romance ground in technology. Setting a romance in the digital realm has its perks. I mean, do you remember You've Got Mail? balance and adorability can be achieved. There are pros and cons to online interludes just as any other dating venture. There's a big world out there full of variety, and the internet streamlines traits for a potential lover to searchable tags. Dark, tall, and handsome, we got a list of guys right here that are tagged as such. Yes, people use apps to play the field, and without the benefit of body language or voice inflection, it's hard to determine if flirting has the intended effect. The limitation of text-based exchanges or in-person contact can make it hard to read the room. Naturally, there are catfishes to watch out for, but those can be easily filtered out as long as red flags are heeded. The merits of an online relationship is more layered than people give it credit for and can lead to a long-term commitment. Plus, given the current environment, it only makes sense two lonely souls would become quarantine friends with benefits via some online vehicle. You are welcome for the plot bunny. Two examples I can steer you towards make valid arguments for internet connections. Lucky Suit by Lauren Blakely has characters that bonded over the internet before meeting in real life, and the matchmaking might have been the product of a slick sidekick grandma. It's super short and sweet. Overall, a great introductory to love filtered through a digital lens. The other one, or rather other four, that really caught my attention is a series called Cyberlove by Megan Erickson and Santino Hassel. Incredibly straightforward and honest, the books encapsulate the dilemma many isolated or busy browser-focused people face with their love lives. How can I get me some booty? Or an HEA, whichever comes first. It's a true snapshot of the current generation of dating, socializing, and meeting online. Lots of options, little substance. But when you find that right connection, it's ride or die. The Cyberlove series even takes it a bit further for bonus points and puts protagonists in internet-related jobs as content creators on different platforms. A legitimate income that has global reach and continues growing with younger generations. Content creators and social media stars are a whole nother conversation. But where online dating is a hot topic, I see little to no conversations about influencers or their platforms in the romance genre. Social media is a huge industry that understands and impacts the younger audience, and as they rightfully should, the young adult genre has taken the lead on portraying it in novels. The world continues pushing innovative technologies that keep us connected remotely, and millions scour the deep recesses of the interweb, desperate to find a kindred spirit. There's a lot of ground to cover there, but I believe as our world continues to evolve with technology, we have the opportunity to write about romance online in an authentic and truthful way. How about it, loves? Which specific trend or modern development do you feel should be in more romance? Tell me more. I'd love to connect with you, and here's how. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Romance the Story. Book recommendations for this episode: Lucky Suit by Lauren Blakely and the Cyberlove series by Megan Erickson and Santino Hassel. References for this episode can be found in the show notes.